Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
Of all of the entities in the world, I'm talking all the alphabet soup people, including the LGBTQ plus, but well, all those fucking people too. The mob, the Yakuza. I honestly can't think of an entity that has ever existed that you just don't want to fuck with other than Jesus Christ. It seems that every time people fuck with Jesus, they suffer the Lord's wrath. And as I have said before, for those who do not understand what the Lord's wrath is, He allows us to suffer the consequences of our actions. You went into God's house and scared God's children and upset people. And they prayed for you. And they will be enriched because of that. And you are going to sit in a 5 foot by 5 foot box for the next 10 years.
There is no one greater than Jesus Christ of Nazareth ever to exist on the face of this planet. I belong to that Jesus. I fear no one, and I fear nothing. Understand?
So that was fun. It's downloading, or it's uploading right now. It's gonna be hours yet before it uploads. Most likely, this video might upload before me opening the magic cards. But I did open the magic cards today. I recorded it. It's uploading right now. For those who don't give a fuck about the magic and certainly aren't going to sit around and watch me open cards for an hour, the TLDR version of it is, I got the one card that I wanted to get. I got the Emrakul, the Promised End, full art movie, old school movie poster card. This was the card that I wanted more than anything else. And not only did I get this one, but I actually got another version of Emrakul, which has gone into my deck. This one I'm keeping in this nice magnet case because, fuck man, look at that thing. That is just too fucking cool. And the other card, which as far as I'm concerned was a big hit, I got Gay Vampires. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I got Gay Vampires. It's the Captivating Vampire full art movie poster card, and I think it's supposed to be a woman. I think there's a small titty there. I just think that she doesn't really have long hair. But it looks like two dudes. So I call it Gay Vampires. I think it's a hysterical card. I got Gay Vampires. So that's the TLDR version. The TLDR version of, I don't want to watch fucking hour-long magic cards. Shit. But it was a fun video. I enjoyed opening the cards. I enjoyed looking at them. I got so much shit to fucking mess around with now. It's crazy. But anyways, moving on to other stuff. So yesterday I kind of talked about a lot of the general malaise going on in Minnesota right now, in Minneapolis. I talked about, the accosting people on the street and demanding to see proof that they're not ICE and shit like that. All the fascist Gestapo shit that they're, I guess, supposed to be against, but they're doing it, so whatever. But the one thing that I didn't mention yesterday, because as far as I am concerned, it deserves a video all on its own. There was a group of protesters who rallied together and decided that they wanted to attack the right-wing fascists, right? And where exactly does one find all of the right-wing fascists? Well, they find them at church. Because that's where all the evil, hateful people go. That's where all the evil white people go. They go to church. So they stormed into a church during the service, yelling and screaming and blowing whistles and being fucking assholes, filming people, screaming at people, demanding that people get out of church so that they can go and fight for the criminals that are fleecing their communities for billions of dollars, raping children in the communities, all the things that good people do. You should be out there supporting these people. What are you doing in here? All sitting around in here all nice and comfortable and white. And to make things personally to me, I do have a personal kind of thing with this. Don Lemon. Don Lemon. I like Don Lemon. I like Don Lemon because the video that I have made that has the most views on YouTube is still Don Lemon is an embarrassment. 15,000 views. That video beats out all of the Joy shit and kind of makes me almost legit as like a news person. Right? 15,000 views of people watching me call Don Lemon a fucking retard. Don Lemon teamed up with this group of protesters and went in with them into the church to journalist. He went there to journalist. He went there to do journalist. And so he kind of coordinated with them leading up to the event. Yeah, you gotta get here at this time so that we can all get together and go over there and everything. So he's, making videos of showing up as they're kind of rallying together. They're all grouping up so that they can go over and do this big mass thing. And he's out there with them, getting ready. And then they all go over to the church. And then he goes into the church and just kind of records the anarchy. And then starts talking to the pastor while the pastor's trying to get these fucking idiots out of the church and try to make sure that none of the people in the church, lose their shit and do something un-Christ-like, Like, he's talking to a kid who's pacing back and forth, looks like he wants to just start fucking throwing people out. And he's like, no, man, no, it ain't worth it. Just pray for these people. Pray for them. They don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand why they're so retarded. Personally, I love them. I think they're great people. I really do. I think it's fantastic. Because while my idea of making fucking with federal law enforcement a federal crime and therefore subject to you don't get to vote anymore, I think the FACE Act is actually a federal crime. So I guess we don't need their input anymore in our elections. And I think that is fantastic. Of course, you could probably vote in Minnesota as a felon, no doubt. I wouldn't doubt it at all, but hey, here's hoping, right? Nevertheless, here we are. They all went in up there and disrupted a church. So now, yesterday, they're talking about how we're going to round these motherfuckers up. And we're going to charge them under the FACE Act. And what does the other side say about that? It says, well, you can't do that, because that's only for abortion clinics. And as far as the reading of the law says, it's for abortion clinics and places of worship. Any place of worship. You can't just bust up into a place of worship and start screaming at motherfuckers. You can't do that shit. That is protesting that you're not allowed to do, right? You can't have a whole bunch of Christians go into an abortion clinic and, start sitting around praying silently and making everybody, rethink, maybe I don't want to murder my baby. You can't have that. Well, you can't have a bunch of assholes go up into a church and start screaming at motherfuckers, making all the kids cry and shit. Can't do it. It's illegal. Holy shit. The First Amendment actually does mean something. Right? Like, this is the thing that a lot of people seem to be forgetting. That freedom of speech is not the only thing in the First Amendment. You have the right to say pretty much whatever you want. We have some limits on it. You have the right to say pretty much whatever you want. And you have the right to journalist all you want, dude. You can be as much of a journalist as you think you are. Sure. But at the same time, you can also peaceably assemble. That's the whole protesting thing, right? Peaceably. You can't, disrupt law enforcement. That's actually illegal. And you can't, stand in the street. Well, I mean, you can, but you shouldn't be allowed to. That should be illegal. And you can't, attack people, and you can't throw rocks at people, and you can't throw frozen water bottles at people, and, all that shit is illegal. That's not peaceably assembling. Standing around with placards and chanting, we're good. Breaking out the windows of a store and looting it and burning it to the ground, that's breaking, entering, theft, and then arson. These are a whole lot of crimes. Right? But also, you have the right to observe your religion. We have freedom of religion. That's a whole part of the First Amendment, freedom of religion. And part of that, as revised laws have come around, is you can't bust up in a church. That's the FACE Act, man. See, the Democrats said, hey, look, we need to kill as many of these babies as we possibly can. And you got a bunch of church people going up in there, praying for motherfuckers. And we don't need that. That invites a lot of guilt, makes these people very uncomfortable, and we need them to give us their dead babies so that we can sell it to medical companies and make a bunch of money. Right? We need that. That's a lot of money for us. Because, see, then what we do is we donate a shit ton of that money to the Democrats so that they can put more laws in place that makes it easier for us to murder your babies so that we can sell the corpses to medical companies to, chop them up, do shit with them. Right? That's how the whole thing works. It's odd. We're finding out that a whole lot of these daycares shoved a whole lot of money at Democrats. Weird. And then a whole lot of bills got passed that made it easier for them to defraud us. Weird. It's almost as if probably 90% of Democrat money is from crime. Alright, that's probably over exaggeration. 60-70% is probably from crime. Whatever. Still no arrests. But yeah. So, where was I? Oh yeah. So they said, yeah, we don't want church people up in there praying for motherfuckers. Right? So they made this FACE Act. You can't go and pray for people. And the Republicans said, alright, look, if that's the way you want to play it, we'll play it that way. We won't let people go and violently pray at motherfuckers. But on the flip side of that coin is, y'all can't run up into church and start screaming at people. And it passed. And a whole group of fucking morons are about to maybe go to jail for possibly 10 years. And Donald Lemon, good old Donald Lemon, the sweet and sour man himself, his presence there, and his activity of it, and his promotion of it, and his support of it, and his involvement in the group and whatnot. Even if his involvement is just, hey, Don, you should get your camera and come and meet us here. We're going to go and do something. Alright, I'm there. And he gets there and he goes, alright, what are we going to do? And they say, it's a secret, we're not going to tell you yet. And he goes, cool. And sits around and waits. And then they say, alright, come with us. And then they start walking to the church. And then he sees people walking into the church. And then he goes into the church, right? He's a part of the fucking group. He's documenting this to promote the group, to promote what they're doing, to try and get more people to do it. Fuck you, Don. So, good old Donald Lemon, right? Lemon Lime himself. He, on MLK Day, on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, or his day, or whatever it is. Martin Luther King Day, his birthday, or is it just his day? I don't fucking know. MLK Day, Don Lemon, the man who said that he would rather be judged by the color of his skin than by the content of his character. He said these fucking words. That man is going to be charged, quite possibly, under the KKK Act, the Ku Klux Klan Act. I don't know how that works. I don't know what that act is. I didn't give a shit. They said it, and then she started explaining it. I couldn't hear her because I was laughing so hard. I don't know what it is. I have no idea how it is that he's going to be charged under this. I just think it's awesome. I just think it's so awesome. I don't even give a fuck. I don't care if it's an entirely made up fucking thing. I don't care if there's actually no law on the books. Just the fact that he could be getting charged with it. That they're threatening to charge him with this shit on Martin Luther King. I think it's perfect. For the man that would spit on the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. to get brought up under some KKK laws on MLK Day, dude. And I got Emrakul. And fuck, I dropped it. Gay vampires. Dude, this has been a great fucking day for me. This has been a great week. Oh, it's only Tuesday. It's been a great week. This has been a great week. Ah. Fucking gay vampires. Anyways. So yeah. I hope that all of these asshole protesters go away for a decade. I think that would be great. I think we don't need their input for the next 10 years at least. At least. And then never again, honestly. And I think that it would be awesome if Don Lemon went to prison for fucking 20 years. For some KKK shit. Because we don't need his input ever again either. I gotta be honest with you, he's a fucking retard. But yeah. And they filmed it. That's another wonderful thing. That's another wonderful thing about all of this. And because I think a big part of the reason why most of them weren't wearing masks, some of them weren't wearing masks, most of them weren't wearing masks. I think a big reason why the ones that weren't, I'd like to think that a big reason why the ones that weren't wearing the mask, it was like a principle thing. We're demanding that ICE not wear masks. So it is kind of ridiculous for us to wear masks. Right? If we're saying they shouldn't hide their face, what are we doing? Right? I wonder if it's a thing like that. Because that's hysterical. We're saying that they can't wear a mask as they're enforcing the law. We certainly can't wear masks while we're breaking the law. That's ridiculous. These people are genius. I love the thought process. Just funny on so many levels, man. This whole situation's funny on so many levels. But I think it also shows again that of all of the entities in the world, I'm talking all the alphabet soup people, including the LGBTQ plus, but all those fucking people too. The mob, the Yakuza. I honestly can't think of an entity that has ever existed that you just don't want to fuck with other than Jesus Christ. It seems that every time people fuck with Jesus, they suffer the Lord's wrath. And as I have said before, For those who do not understand what the Lord's wrath is, He allows us to suffer the consequences of our actions. You went into God's house and scared God's children and upset people, and they prayed for you, and they will be enriched because of that. And you are going to sit in a 5-foot by 5-foot box for the next 10 years. Fucking retards.